A very good evening. Welcome to our special election show, GE2020 Today, coming to you every night during this election season. I'm Haryanto Diman.
And I'm Rachel Kelly from Money FM 89.3, and you can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never have to miss a single episode.
Now, Rachel, it's official. Campaigning is underway in GE 2020. This is an election like never before. Some observers have dubbed this a digital election.
They sure have, and while there are no horns or whistles or umbrellas during this nomination day, the posters are going up, flyers are being handed out, and candidates are out and about meeting their respective residents from their respective constituencies. And you know what? I believe I even caught the glimpse of a campaign van driving past SPH earlier today.
That's it. Given the COVID-19 situation, everyone's keeping a safe distance, of course, like yourself and me, between the both of us. As you can see, however, old school campaigning still plays an all-important role in this election.
So the parties finalized their candidates today, and for the second election in a row, all 93 seats will be contested with no walkovers.
192 candidates will stand in 17 GRCs and 14 SMCs. In the coming days, the voters will receive their polling cards for the vote on July 10th.
East Coast GRC is tipped to be one of the toughest fights this election, and it's been contested by the Workers' Party the last 3 elections.
The PAP's victory there in 2015 was the narrowest of all the GRCs the party won. And as Kimberly Zhao reports, East Coast GRC also provided the biggest surprise on nomination day.
In the case of East Coast, the Workers' Party has put up a credible team, and we will fight for every vote.
The battleground is set as the People's Action Party and the Workers' Party go head-to-head in East Coast GRC. Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee-keat left his Tampines stronghold to join the 5-man constituency in a surprise move.
So when I discussed this with the Prime Minister, I say I'm prepared to go anywhere where I can be of value, because I want to be able to mobilize all Singaporeans, wherever they may be, to work together.
I think in an election you fight to win, but you are never absolutely certain that you will win. And we send somebody where we think he has a good chance of winning, and I'm quite sure that Swee-keat will put his all to make sure that he gets a good outcome in East Coast.
All 31 constituencies will be contested in this year's general election. While the PAP has called for a strong mandate, Prime Minister Hsien Yang said a campaign's success cannot be measured by just numbers.
I mean, you want to have a good vote, of course, but how you interpret it, I think, also depends on the mood during the campaign and the vibes, whether people feel that this is a good outcome and they're happy with it, or whether they look at the outcome and say, oh, maybe I should have voted differently yesterday. I hope in this election we will again have an outcome where, after the election, people feel good they did the right thing and they made a resounding, clear choice.
In other closely watched news, PM Lee's brother and Progress Singapore party member Mr. Hsien Yang will not be contesting this election after all.
Although he was spotted at a coffee shop near the Bendemeer Primary School nomination centre, his name didn't appear in the nomination papers by the noon deadline. In a Facebook post, Mr. Lee said he's chosen not to stand for political office because Singapore doesn't need another Lee.
The Workers' Party expects a difficult fight against the PAP in the 6 constituencies that it's contesting, especially so with the COVID-19 situation. But Party Chief Pritam Singh said WP has full confidence in the performance of its new candidates.
On the surprise move by the People's Action Party to field Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee-keat in East Coast GRC, Mr. Singh called it an important signal.
They take our challenge in East Coast very seriously. I would say we take their challenge equally seriously, and that's why we've put a strong slate of candidates in East Coast. I think they will do well for the Workers' Party, and I think they will prove to voters that there are no pushovers and that they will be prepared to fight for the interests of Singapore and Singaporeans, not just in Parliament but in the constituency and in their town councils as well.
The five-man WP team in East Coast comprises new candidates, including Ms. Nicole Seah, who stood in the 2011 election as a National Solidarity Party candidate. Mr. Singh also explained the significance of holding the media doorstop in Hougang, saying it was where the spirit of the party bloomed through his predecessor, Mr. Lau Tia Kiang.
This was the culture that Mr. Lau invigorated into the party, rational, responsible, respectable politics. And because he was able to do that and persuade Hougang voters that that's the direction the WP wants to go, and for all our candidates who are contesting in other constituencies, they must never forget that.
The single-member constituency held by the WP since 1991 will see Mr. Dennis Tan go up against the PAP's Lee Hong Chuang. Mr. Tan said he has gotten to know many of the residents in Hougang by walking around the estate, something Mr. Lau taught him to do.
I hope that in the coming term, if elected, I will continue to serve them in this regard. Also running the constituency here, running the estate, attending to people's concern.
Rachel, now that we have seen the candidates are confirmed, campaigning is underway. We saw the first online rally this evening. Singapore Democratic Party Chief Dr. Chee Soon Juan spoke a short while ago, telling voters that his party is all about putting people first.
I have but one life to give, and I gladly give it up for justice, for righteousness, and for freedom. I invite you, my fellow Singaporeans, to stand up and walk with me. Good night.
On polling day, Dr. Chee will be on the ballot paper for Bukit Batok SMC, once more going up against PAP's Murali Pillay, who won the constituency in the 2016 by-election. Meanwhile, in a surprise move, SDP Chairman Paul Tambia confirmed he'll be contesting Bukit Panjang SMC, not Holland Bukit Timah GRC, as observers had expected. He'll face off against PAP's Mr. Liang Eng Hua.
Also today, Mr. Tan Ji Se joined the SDP team challenging the PAP in Holland Bukit Timah GRC. Mr. Tan returned to the SDP just yesterday after dissolving his party, Singaporeans First, last week. Rachel, today marks a bittersweet moment for the MPs who are leaving politics behind. Incumbent West Coast GRC MP Mr. Lim Heng Kiang is retiring after 29 years of political life. The former Trade and Industry Minister said on social media that it's the responsible thing to do as he makes way for newcomer Rachel Ong. Mr. Lim has also served as Health Minister and National Development Minister.
In another goodbye post, Mr. Zainal Sapari thanked residents of Pasir Ris Punggol GRC, where he served for 2 terms. He also thanked SM Teo Chee Hien for his fantastic guidance and mentorship.
As the campaigning gets into full swing, we'll be covering all of the developments each day and bringing them to you here on this program.
You can also get updates by following the live blog on our GE2020 microsite for all the latest election news. Thank you very much for watching and have a great evening.
Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman with Rachel Kelly. We'll see you tomorrow.